Hi everybody, my name is Rochelle and I want to show you the little garden that we're growing in our town yard. We have been living here for several years and we have I think this is our fourth garden here and it's doing really well. We live in Manitoba and the growing zone that we're in is 4A and this is July 25th. It's kind of the peak of our garden. Some of the things are starting to die off a little bit and we're still waiting for a lot of produce, but this is a good time for you to see what our garden looks like. Okay, so we're gonna start at this end this time just for a fun change. We have some beans in this back garden box. There are a lot of weeds in our garden right now because we've been gone for most of 2 weeks, so weeding has not been on my top priority list. So we have some green beans in here, they're doing great. We're harvesting them right now. The last couple of years we had a lot of slugs on our beans and I think the wood chips were causing some of that, so I moved them this year to the box without any wood chips and they are doing great. There's no slugs at all, so that's great. This box I always seem to have as just a random assortment of plants. So I have lettuce that's going to seed, we have pansies, we have sugar snap peas, we have lemon balm and thyme and oregano and some snapdragons and some celery. So just really random stuff. Usually after I plant the garden and I want to go buy a few more plants, I just leave some room in the garden box and throw them in there. We have a big bunch of milkweed here. Mercer thinks I'm being too ruthless with it, but I do pull a lot of it out because if I let it all grow, we would have milkweed over this whole patch. So that's really funny how it's really wanting to be there. What else do we have here? We have some watermelon, which is not doing well at all. We have watermelons that are like teeny tiny and it's end of July, so we'll see if we get any watermelons. We have one plant here that is actually a Santa Claus melon that we got from the store and we just love the taste of it, so I saved seeds and grew one, and so far there are no blossoms on it, so I really hope that we'll get some still. And okay, we have some I forget what the squash was called. It was a different kind, not acorn, but something short and round. I don't remember what it was called, but I think it'll be good. And then we have spaghetti squash growing here again. Very, very good this year. We have lots of dill everywhere and apple mint that's just taking over, some chamomile and parsley that's going to seed. A lot of the things in our garden are just seeding themselves because we don't till, so a lot of seeds get left in and it's annoying in some ways, but it's also just fine and kind of fun. We've got 3 zucchini plants, so we've been getting quite a few off of those. And this variety, it's a different variety and it's not seeming to get as big so quickly, which is nice. So we've got some bee balm here, which is coming back year after year. It's huge and the bees do really love it, so that's fun to bring them in that way. And let's see. We've got some cauliflower. We just bought these plants from the store and some of them are starting to head out well, but the rest are, I'm not experienced with cauliflower, so I don't really know. Something went wrong. I grew some holy basil. Again, holy basil always seems to just be a little slower and it doesn't grow. You can see this is the holy basil here and the cinnamon basil is much more prolific. And the cinnamon basil is good too. It makes a very spicy tea, and so I tend to prefer the flavor of the holy basil. So yeah, I'll have to figure out what to do with all of this. I need to pinch off the leaves, like the blossoms like this, so it doesn't all go to seed, but yeah, it smells really nice and spicy. And then we have some green bell peppers all along this row. Peppers did really well. And they're doing really well, I should say. We have not a ton of blossoms on the plants. The plants are really healthy and I think we're gonna get quite a few. I forgot to mention earlier, this spring we pushed the wood chips aside and made rows and put manure in the rows. So we planted in a few inches of manure and so that was, I think, a really good boost for our soil. And I think we're really seeing the results from that. Everything is growing quite well and you'll see our peas and everything are really tall over there. So that's fun to see that. Here we have potatoes and we've only had a few bugs on them. So that's been good. And I think can't remember where the okra plant is that I planted. I tried planting okra again this year and, oh yeah, here it is, right here. Tiny little guy being kind of surrounded and pushed around by the potatoes. So okra is, yeah, so far I have not had a success of growing it, but I don't really know what I'm missing either, so we'll see if I even try it again next year. I have some jalapeno peppers here. They're starting to produce some good peppers. And then I have cosmos, and cosmos gets so tall, it's great. I'm saving all of the flowers here for a bridal shower in a couple days, so there's a lot of flowers in our garden right now that I'm just collecting and gonna pick them all. I have a couple stevia plants right here. They're very small. I thought they were dead and then they started growing back from the roots, so they're very resilient, which is awesome because I like making my own stevia extract to sweeten things with. You can see a sandbox here, Mercer built, kids love it, and it's been a fun addition to our yard. Trying to make our yard a little bit more fun for the kids as they get older. I planted a lot of flowers this year. That was really fun. We've got some white zinnias just starting to come. And we have lots of calendula. I always save my seeds from a calendula. And this year, actually, they must have self-seeded so well last year that there's calendula coming up in like way over there in the garden and way over in my flower bed over there. So somehow they really did a good job of spreading. I probably didn't even need to plant them this year. Walking down here, we've got some random edible herb and flower mixture that I planted, and I'm not even sure which ones are weeds and which ones are part of the package. So there's a nasturtium plant. I've got some parsley behind me that I just seeded. Only a few plants have come up, and they're kind of being crowded out by the cosmos. This is cilantro. I keep picking it and trying to keep it from going to seed because I need to harvest some more, and I'm hoping to have some for salsa and stuff, but it's an earlier crop than the tomatoes, so it's hard to line that up. I have lots of gladiolas here. They really took off, and yeah, I expect there'll be lots of pretty flowers. I might have to figure out how to support them because they do tend to fall over, so we'll see about that. Then we have some beets in front of me. Beets are never Mercer's favorite crop, but I like to pressure can them and make some beet pickles, and they're just very easy to grow. So, okay. I heard from somewhere that carrots only produce seed the second year, which is definitely not true because this is all first year carrots, and this carrot here is gonna grow some seeds, so I'm not sure. But these carrots are the Danvers variety. I've always grown that kind and they do really well. And so far, like last year, we had slugs in not only in our green beans, but also in our peas and in our carrots. And so far I'm not seeing any evidence of slugs at all. So that's really great. We have lots of snapdragons here. I'm saving them up for a bridal shower soon. So they're, yeah, just beautiful. I planted these all from seed this year, and they are just such a fun flower. I love snapdragons. So I'd like to get more of the softer colored varieties as well. And I'd like to try saving seeds from these this year. So yeah, I can keep enjoying them. And yeah, that is something I want to learn more and more about, is saving seeds from our vegetables and flowers. It's just fun. I tend to get a little lazy at the end of summer and then not feel like doing extra work of saving seeds, but I'm motivated right now to do it. This side here, we have tomatoes on either side of this fence, and I need to stake them up again. It's been like a few days since I've done that, and they grow so fast. We've got some little tomatoes coming. There's several varieties here, and I honestly don't know which is which. I got them kind of mixed up. There's Romas and some cherry tomatoes. I have a lot of tomatoes that died, and so I had to buy some from the greenhouse. So most of these I didn't grow from seed, so I don't really keep track of what is what. And hidden in between some of these plants, I have some basil, which I was thinking, you know, basil likes to grow with tomatoes, right? So I'll just plant it. But of course, I didn't think about how overshadowing the tomatoes would get, and so the basil plants are very tiny in there still. And here is a honey nut squash. So that's like a butternut squash, but little. It's probably about this big when it's fully developed. And so I figured they could be supported by this fence, which isn't super strong, but I think it'll be good. And I really, like those. So it looks like we're gonna get hopefully quite a few of them. There aren't any, I can't see any squash growing yet, but they tend to throw out the male flowers first and then the female flowers will come after that. Here's our cucumber fence. I have planted cucumbers on both sides. There's a lot of cucumbers on this fence. We have the Cool Breeze variety this year, which I really like. They're a good flavor, they're good for pickling, but they're also really good for salads. And they're very prickly and spiny, so they're a little bit painful to pick, but I do really love them. They're so straight and they don't grow ginormous right away. So there's a lot this year. We were away this past week and the week before, so we've had neighbors picking some, but I picked like 2 gallons of them today, so there's gonna be a lot of cucumbers. And then behind me we have some sugar snap peas, and this is the tallest we've ever had sugar snap peas before. So I think it's a combination of probably the manure we added and also putting a fence up. I put this fence up before we even planted, and that's definitely the best way to go about this. So I also want to try saving seeds from these guys. So, because every year the packet of seeds that I get that are supposed to be sugar snap seeds always has several shelling pea varieties mixed in there, and I want to try to avoid that by saving my own seeds. I will help you soon. Almost done with my video. Okay, baby's joining me for the last part of the tour. We have some bachelor buttons here, and they've kind of fallen over. I think they've gotten too dry. We haven't been able to water them, and they're starting to, die off, but very pretty. And then we have some zinnias. These are some, I really love this color, this peachy pink color. We have some bunny tail grass here, which is so fun. I've never succeeded in growing this before, so it's really cute. I love these. And then we have more snapdragons. So I think that's everything in our garden. We have a lot, but it's doing really well, and we're excited to be eating lots of stuff from our garden. So thank you for joining us.